Kasalukuyan naman pong may press briefing sa Malacanang, kaugnay pa rin sa naganap na pirmahan ng Bangsamoro Framework Agreement. Panoorin po natin ito.
A little more than one page. On this note, allow me to end my statement now. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
May I ask Dean Marvic Leonen to give a statement?
Thank you, Chair Margaret Bal, for honoring your promise. And I will honor also my promise that mine will be less than one page. Good morning to everybody. Today is indeed a historic occasion. We have signed the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro, a document which I saw negotiated throughout the last year and a half, however, is the product of the entire series of negotiation with the MILF starting in 1997. It is indeed a collective effort produced by both the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, as well as many actors outside the actual negotiating process. And indeed, a while ago during the signing ceremonies, many of the international actors as well as the local actors were indeed recognized. It is indeed only a framework agreement. Much more has to be done in terms of negotiating the annexes, but we think that the framework agreement contains the roadmap, the principles and values that will guide this. The past week, when we presented the framework agreement to the public, we have had extraordinary support, statements of support in extraordinary numbers to the framework agreement. I guess it is an agreement whose time has come. Of course, we have also received our own shares of skepticism. In fact, some opposition, some minor opposition in some parts of our country regarding this framework agreement. But to all of them, perhaps what I could say is that it is a paper that enumerates the political commitments of the government of the Republic to the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. And what it creates is not something that is exclusive to the MILF. It will create a new Bangsamoro Basic Law that will create the Bangsamoro, which is the regional arrangement that we will have down south. It is not, again, if I may repeat, exclusive to the MILF. And let me repeat, the process is an inclusive, people-driven, and democratic process. A transition commission, which I guess will go for consultations throughout the area, submitting a Bangsamoro Basic Law, a draft of it to the Congress, the House and the Senate deliberating with elected representatives, the President mulling over the product of Congress when it passes this bill in 3 readings, and then finally a full ratification from the people in the area. A political mandate, a legal mandate, and a constitutional mandate at that. Maraming salamat, and we are now ready for your questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Marvic. The first question, sir, will come from Salarina Del Mundo Monte.
Good afternoon po. Congratulations po. To Dean Marvic Leon. And sir, according to the framework, to the draft framework, side framework agreement, you're targeting before the end of the year to come up with a comprehensive agreement. How early could you come up with this agreement?
Before the end of the year.
Like, could it be like November or what?
Before the end of the year, and I think from on the GPH end, we have all intentions to make it as early as possible.
To Chairman, to Mr. Iqbal, sir, what are your expectations regarding the power and wealth sharing?
It is under negotiation, and I do not want to annotate that. Let's wait for the result.
Because there were reports that you want, especially on wealth, it could be 25-75 yung ratio. So, is that?
And I do not want to preempt the result of that technical working groups who are negotiating on the details of wealth sharing.
Maynard Macaraig of AFP, Agence France Presse.
To both parties, I know, sir, you released a statement about MNLF being involved, and there was some mention also that there were MNLF at that signing, although I can't really say who they were. Were the MNLF really present? Were they consulted? And what role do you think they're going to play? I mean, we're already hearing rumblings about MNLF not agreeing to this because they will basically be marginalized despite your expressions about being inclusive.
I am not sure whether they are going to be marginalized. The fact is, with respect to the government, we have spoken to some leaders of the Moro National Liberation Front, and that we have conversed with them throughout the entire 1.5 years as I was chair. We met with various leaderships of the Moro National Liberation Front. So I am not sure whether they are indeed going to be marginalized. Yes, there is a comment made by one leader of the MNLF, and we have taken that into serious consideration. However, as far as we can tell, in communities in Mindanao, we can see that there is a lot of hope because of this framework agreement.
We are reaching out to the various leaders of the Moro National Liberation Front, and as we have been saying all along that we are negotiating for the entire Bangsamoro people, not just for the MILF. And if you look at the framework agreement, the direct role of the MILF is only in the transition, and after that, it's free for
all. Were there MNLF members at that meeting and at the signing, and will there be an MNLF representative at the transition in the Transition Commission?
Insofar as the government is concerned, responding to your last question, there is every intention that the government side of the Transition Commission will be inclusive, and yes, it will include members of the MNLF. As to who was in the signing, I am sorry, but I was so focused on listening to the speeches. There were, I think, 500 people in the, more than 500 people in the room. In fact, I had trouble also seating myself, and so I'm sorry that I was not able to see. But I was told that yes, there were MNLF representatives there.
Ina Zara of TV5.
Good afternoon. The question po is for Mr. Iqbal. Sir, MILF will nominate 8 members to be part of the Transition Commission. Meron po bang mga pangalan na tayong pinagpipilian?
We have the short list already, and certainly we would consider a women participation, a member of the IP, an NGO, and maybe from the non-government organizations we will also involve them, but definitely we still have not finalized the list yet.
Sir, will it be wise to include Normis Wari on that list?
He's not joining. He denounced the agreement.
Maria Ressa of Rappler.
To both panel heads, please. What was the hardest thing for each of you to compromise on, and what, if anything, are you afraid of for the future?
Can I answer first?
Yes, sir.
Would I not be violating the principle of non-disclosure?
No, sir.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
The hardest thing was about policing. And the whole day of October 6, there was no plenary session except the opening and maybe the third reading of the whole document. It was all, the most contentious is about policing. And we were about to give up, if not for the perseverance of both parties and the creativity of the Malaysian facilitator. It was 10:40 in the evening when we had a deal.
Ang inyo pong napanood ay ang press briefing tungkol sa kalalagda lamang na framework agreement sa pagitan ng MILF at ng gobyerno.